chapter 4 from Canto 1. We had completed till verse 16. Now, here Vyas Muni was seeing errors in the universe around him. That means there were anomalies in the system. It is like understanding, looking at the nature and looking around, you come to know that there are certain things going wrong. Like say for example, today, there are wars going on. A pandemic happened. So many things happen in the world. And these can be seen. So the appearance of this great sage, that is Vyasdev, happened during this time. His job was to write the scriptures. Write doesn't mean write actually. Write means that his job was to give the stories of the Divine Lord to the world. And that was called the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prior to this, he did something different. The Vedas existed in the world. The Vedas. So there were 3 Vedas. Okay? Rig, Yajur and Sam. And then there was Atharva. Now what he did was, because these are massive scriptures or kind of teachings and stuff like that, it's a framework. You have to break it down. Break it down so that it is becoming palatable. So he broke it down and he created divisions in it. And that is the division which we today know. I'm sure you have heard the Suktas and all that. You have heard, no? Devi Suktam is there. You have heard about it. So like that. So that was one he did. Then he broke down other scriptures. He also gave Mahabharata. And all this happened during that time. This was passed on to his son by means of verbally communication. Verbally he communicated to his son. And his son in turn, he was a free soul, which means he was an Avduta. Avduta goes all over the world. And when the Avduta goes all over the world, he is free to err, which means basically he can go around naked also. So the sages and the saints which are free, they are called Avdutas, and they roam around without any restriction of any sort. They won't stay in a place for more than one day. I hope you understand that. Now, that is how he was. Then comes another person, Parikshit. Parikshit was a person who was dying. And he asked the Avduta, that is Sukhdev, to free him from the bondage of these rebirths, and he was then reciting the entire Srimad Bhagavatam to him. This is a story. This was heard by other sages, and because they were heard by other sages, there is a repetition of the tale further up, and because there is a repetition of the tale further up, we call it Shruti and Smriti. Basically, there are things which are repeated. Sometimes they get written down also. So later on it got written down also. So what we are learning today is the written version of it. Alright? So now let us start with what exactly transpired. So we will move on to verse 17 and 18. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, the appearance of Sri Narada, Canto 1, Chapter 4, text 17 and 18. Vyasdev, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age, that is the Yuga. He could also see the faithlessness in people in general which would be reduced in duration of time and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus he contemplated on the welfare of men in all statuses and order of life. I hope you get this. It's a very important message. Now this particular message tells us, why did Vyasdev come? Now Vyasdev's entry in this world was simply because there was a lot of upheaval going on in this world. Things were going bad. People were faithless. Today what has happened in this world? People are totally faithless. They don't have any faith. And because they don't have any faith, they have nothing to hold on to. See, when you have faith in someone, you hold on to it, correct? I want you to think of yourself as falling from a cliff. Falling from a cliff. Your thought process is only one during that time. Can I get saved somewhere? And maybe there is a tree branch hanging from there, and you get caught in that branch. That faith is there. So always remember this. The faith is not dependent on material worldly things, but it is dependent on something very unusual. It cannot be pinpointed and nobody can say what this faith is all about. It's a very vague word. And this word is not understood by human beings. Because our belief is in something which we cannot hold on to. That means I cannot hold the image of God and say there is God in this image. Can I? Can I see the God? I see only a stone image. I see a picture. I see a block. I see things which cannot be understood in the common way. In our normal, analytical manner, we cannot even understand. So this world means during the time of Vyasdev, had turned away from God. Does this happen often in the yugas? Yes, it happens in the yugas. And every time when this happens, the appearance of God is there. He appears during that time. Mostly in the form of a yogi, a teacher, somebody like that. But the avatars are 10 in number. They happened. These are major avatars, and then there are minor avatars also. So, the yuga influences these methods which happen. Please remember one thing. How is the yuga responsible, you will ask me. See, every yuga, there are 4 yugas if you know. The first one is called the Satyuga or Krita. Then there is Treta, then there is Dwapara, and then the last one is the Kali Yuga. Now, if I have to look at these yugas, it is said that they exert an influence. So in that yuga, what is the influence? The influence was the deterioration of the Brahmanas. The Sattva guna had deteriorated. Remember, the gunas are there. Are the gunas there or no? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The Sattva has literally reduced. The Rajas had increased during that time. And the Tamas had just started showing up. So people had more Rajasic tendencies. Now when there is Rajas, the arrogance of human beings is there. What is the arrogance? I know, I can do this. This is possible. I can kill anybody. I can defeat any person. I am the greatest of all times. And this is how people believe. Their belief system says that all that there is no God or anybody, I can do it. See, I am capable. I am the one who has studied. See, I did the studies, didn't I? I got my graduation, then I got a job. I am getting money because I work very hard. A Rajasic tendency. I work so I get my salary. This is Rajas. They deny God in this. They do not have faith in God. They believe their work itself is giving them the money. So this is the way in which Rajas works. So Vyasdev had come during that time. And then Mahabharata and everything was happening. I am sure you know that. Then later on, the further deterioration is going to happen, Kali Yuga. At the time of Kali Yuga, there is another entry. So it keeps on happening constantly. So he could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to the lack of goodness. There is no goodness left in the world. So when Vyasdev came, brothers were fighting with brothers. We know the Mahabharata, isn't it? Huh? There was rape, there was plundering, there was all kinds of murders and this and that. Too many bad things were happening. Agreed? When all these things were happening, naturally the deterioration in the Yuga had already set in. So Vyasdev came so that he could give something for the Yuga, so that people can become good in this world. So at the end of the third Yuga, is the time when, remember, the third Yuga ended when Shri Krishna died. That is why if you see the 11th canto has Shri Krishna's end in that, the end of the story. Now where is the beginning of the story? The story begins after the death of Shri Krishna. So the beginning of the story is after the death of Shri Krishna. Arjun's grandson, Parikshit, he is given the entire scripture in a format by the son of Vyasdev. I hope you are getting the entire thing clear. So it is in the Kali Yuga this thing is getting recited, not in the past Yuga. Sri Krishna had already passed away. Remember this. That advent of Kali Yuga has already happened. So when Parikshit was sitting over there near the Ganga river and listening to Sukhdev, it is during the last Yuga, which is Kali Yuga. So the advent of Kali Yuga means everything is deteriorating today. Right? And Vyasdev in his goodness has left behind this scripture for us so that we can become devotees of God. This is one of the highest scriptures in the path of devotion. Alright? I hope you get it. So, the duration of life of a human being had come down. How is the duration of life? Krishna died when he was 125 years old. Isn't that true? Even Balarama passed away at that time. So they could live anywhere between 125 years to 200 years. That was the time span. Before that, a person could live even till the next Yuga. Thousands of years also. Now you will wonder, how is a person able to live for thousands of years? Do you remember the story of Satyabhama? Right? So Satyabhama's story with Sri Krishna happened in such a manner where Sri Krishna had to go and recover that diamond, that stone. Huh? And he had to meet his third wife over there. I hope you recollect that. So, that person was from the previous Yuga, Sri Ram's Yuga. Okay? Yeah. From the Sri Ram's Yuga till this Yuga, he was still there. It's like a bear, in the form of a bear. The strangest part of it all is this. How is it that a bear could live for two yugas? You may ask this question, isn't it? There was a promise given by Sri Ram that he will marry the daughter of this bear in the next life of his. So the idea was that. I hope you get this story clear. And that is the reason why you will find that during this third yuga, the life had compressed and it had come down from 200 and more years to 125. And at the beginning of the last yuga, that is the Kali Yuga, the life is compressed still further. Today, what is the lifespan of a human being? Anywhere between 75 or 70 to 80, or that is the lifespan, isn't it? You will find that people will live only during that time. And there are very few places where a person can live till 100. Not everybody can live till 100. So here he is saying this, the reduction in the duration of life and impatience due to lack of goodness. So people have become impatient due to lack of goodness. They don't have goodness in them. Look at all the YouTube today. What are they saying? How to make millions in the shortest period type. Have they mentioned it or no? Have you seen there are youngsters in the age group of 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. What are they doing? I am a multimillionaire. I earn 6 million. I earn 10 million. By the time they are 30, I am a $100 million person. I am a billionaire. What is that? Now imagine in this yuga, if this person were to live for 125 years, what is going to happen? A person at the age of 16 earns millions. Does he know what he is supposed to do when he is 30 or when he is 40 or 50 or 60? No, he has no idea. He is going to get into very big trouble. All his money will go away. He may get married to a woman who will take him to the cleaners. Isn't that what is happening in the world today? The lady sold 11 billion worth of stock 2 days ago, 3 days ago. How is that? So the idea that I have life, I have billions is not correct. There are people who may be 50 years old suffering from the deadliest of the diseases. Have you seen people suffering from the deadliest of the diseases or no? Huh? What happens to them? They have diabetes, they have cancer. Some people are bedridden. Right? Some people have tumors. Some people have different diseases of their body. When they are 40, 50, 60 and all. And imagine living like that till the age of 80 or 100. Now you start your disease when you are 45 or 50. And you are not even capable of moving yourself. For the next 40 years of your life, you are going to be bedridden. How is it good? So do you understand? This is what is happening to the yuga. And this is very dangerous. So we need to have goodness in this world. It is when you are good, even from the beginning of your life, you have to be very good. Remember, as a youngster, you are told, don't smoke, don't drink, don't womanize, don't do this, don't do that. Are you told this or no? But what do the children do? When they come of age, maybe 15, 16, 20, 17, 18 and all, They will start smoking, they will start drinking, they will indulge in all kinds of lusty activities. Can you just tell those people downstairs? So there is this problem here which cannot be understood. What is this? Even after telling someone that you have to not drink, they will go and drink. Then they have diseases. When they have diseases, they are bothered that I should be now going to the gym, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. They think like this. The cat is already out. What are you going to do? You have already deteriorated your body and now you want things to be rectified? It is not possible. As a child, you have never cared, about these things. And the parents also are not bothered about the child. They think they are sending him to some school. I saw a video where the person, he is stopped in the middle of the road and he is told a license, registration. And he removes something and gives it to this person. He says, no, I want a license and registration. He says, that is my license and registration. So what is this? He says, I consider myself as a cat. I identify myself as a cat. Really? What is this? I identify myself as a woman. I am a man, but I identify myself as a woman. And a woman tomorrow will say, I identify myself as something else. Do you see there is no goodness in this world left? Human beings have completely lost it. So he says, he contemplated on the welfare of men of all statuses and orders in life. He thinks about the goodness in this world. He says, I have to bring back this goodness. Be your good self. Every person that I have met in my last so many years from 2001 till today, the only one thing that I teach them is be your good self. I don't want you to become mean. I don't want you to become a bad person. Just be nice to everybody. Those people can act mean. Those people can be the worst creatures on earth. You may not like them. They may identify as a cat also, or a dog also, or an elephant also. Why are you bothered? Some people can say, there is no God. Why are you concerned? Just be good to them. Just feel compassion for these people who have lost their mind. You can see a human being, but he is saying, I identify myself as a cat. How funny is that? But you can't laugh at them. You know the reason why you can't laugh at them? Because they are mad people. You cannot even call a mad. You cannot call them as somebody who has lost his mind. They will put you in jail. How can you call them that? You cannot identify a black as a black person. A person who has lost his brains, you cannot call him mad also. Got the point or no? The world has become like this, full of horrible stuff. And that is the reason why the sage has to come. The next verse, we'll go to verse 19. He saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupation could be purified. And to simplify the process, he divided one Veda into 4 in order to expand them among men. The next verse, 20. The 4 divisions of the original source of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately by the historical fact and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the 5th Veda. So what did Vyasdev do? Vyasdev saw there is so much of anarchy in this world. So many people are not believers of God. They have so many problems. They have so many diseases. There are 3 types of problems in this world. I am sure you know that, They are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita also. Afflictions of 3 kinds. So people are afflicted. The biggest affliction today in the world is the affliction of the mind. Please understand, everybody is afflicted by the mind alone. Nobody is thinking clearly because their mind is affected. Now, how do you get these people out of this? The one thing which can get a person out is called knowledge. See, when you go to the doctor, that is a method of curing. We are trying to cure. No doctor can cure, by the way. Nothing can cure us. Okay? It can just alleviate our suffering a little bit. When we take an aspirin, I think 99% of it is psychological, isn't it? You're just telling your mind you have taken aspirin. Okay, now the pain will stop. Basically, this is how medicines have become nowadays. So afflictions are there in this world. What is the greatest remedy for affliction? The greatest remedy for affliction is knowledge. Give knowledge to that person. When people are, I can't do this is not possible, I am the most worst person on earth. Have you not heard people talk like this? Nobody cares for me, I am not good in all these things. They call themselves as I am not good. I cannot do this. This is not possible. I have never done this in my life. When people say this kind of words, well, even a child has never done things in his life. But isn't the child trying out things? When the child says, I cannot climb these stairs, don't you tell the child, climb the stairs, and then the child climbs it? Correct? It's possible, isn't it? There are dogs, there are cats. Are they trained also? Yes. You have seen the dog trainers, how they train the dog. Sit, then that dog will sit. Get up, he will get up. Go and eat, he will eat. So everything is possible. Tell me something. Is it called knowledge or no? It is knowledge, isn't it? Everything in the world is possible through knowledge alone. If I train myself in something, I can be an expert in that subject. So, here, Vyasdev identifies it as the knowledge of the Vedas, which is the framework of this creation. The framework of the creation is there. What is the framework of the creation? The framework of the creation says that there are certain laws in this world which we need to follow. There are certain do's and don'ts. We follow those do's and don'ts, we will become very good in this world. Right? And that is what we are supposed to do. So he said, let me break it down into 4 Vedas. This framework, which was then broken down into 4 Vedas, it is for easy assimilation. See, when you go to the doctor and you say, and he has given you a big tablet to eat, what does the doctor do? Maybe he crushes it and he says, okay, drink it in water or something like that. Isn't it? Huh? In India, we also have those tablets which dissolve in the water. In America, there is I don't know what it is called, Alka-Seltzer or something like that. You dissolve it in water and you drink it. It is easy to drink, isn't it? So we have to make it easier for the person. The job of a guru, understand these words, the job of a guru is to make it simpler. Not keep on coming up with fantastic, complicated verses and stuff like that. No, the job of a guru is to give the knowledge in the simplest possible manner, because everybody is a child, everybody has no knowledge. So if I have to give knowledge to a person, am I supposed to make it simpler or am I supposed to make it complicated? Today's day and age, have you seen when you go to an organization, a big company, they make it so complicated and they will say, oh, this is like this, it's very complicated, No. The job of any person who is a teacher of the highest order, he will make the most complex subject into the simplest possible manner. That is the job of a teacher. So the sage Vyasdev is a great teacher. He makes it very, very simple and he gives it to the people. That is how he divided the Vedas into 4 types. The 4 divisions of the original source of knowledge, they were made separately. So we separate it out further. Alright? Now, if you see this year's prize in physics, or I think some subject, was given to a person who is an IT expert. Have you noticed it or no? He is a person who has come up with artificial intelligence, something in that, and he has got a prize of physics. Can you understand this? So there is an AI over there. Maybe it is related to physics. I don't know about that. I am not so intelligent as that person. He won the Nobel Prize. I have not won even a small plastic badge. So maybe he knows too much. Understand this. To make it simpler is the highest virtue in the world. Make knowledge simpler for your child also, if you are a parent. If you are a teacher, make it the simplest possible manner. Give it to them in the form of a very simple, that thing which you can dissolve it and drink it, like that. So, these Vedas, they contain historical data. But we don't believe it is historical. We consider every scripture of ours as a mythology. No, what is he saying? He is saying everything over here has got a historical value. We cannot understand it. See, even in history, anthropology or ancient sciences, whatever they were, we have to understand a lot of things, isn't it? So understanding is important. Till you don't understand, we cannot make judgments on things. So the Vedas have a historical data in it. Likewise, there is a 5th Veda also, which is nothing but the scripture which we are doing today. Isn't it? So he says there is the 5th Veda there. So now we will move to the next verse. So verse 21 says, after the Vedas were divided into 4 divisions, Paila Rishi became the professor of the Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of Samved, Vaishampayana alone became glorified by the Yajur Veda. The next one is Sumanto Muni Angira, who was very devoted, engaged, was interested with the Atharva Ved, and my father, Romaharshana, was interested with the Puranas and historical records. Next verse, verse 23. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas unto many disciples, grand disciples and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. And this is the simplest thing which he has done. What did he do? Simple thing. Break it down. Have you ever seen the most complicated dish in a kitchen is made by breaking down tasks? The great chefs, what they will do, they will give chopping to some person, they will give saute to some person, they will give something else to some person. Every person is given that thing. Have you seen in YouTube, there is a very funny thing which happens? You see all the channels, all the channels that are there. The most beautiful channel that is there, which is teaching you how to cook. Do you know where it is lacking? The lacking is in how do I select the ingredient. They just say, get potatoes from the market, get onions from the market, and we will now cut the onions, we will now cut the potatoes, we will now cut this thing. They don't tell you how to do the selection of those goods. What is it that is going to be the taste of that thing? Nobody understands that. Now, if I just have to make a salad also, how many different types of salad leaves are there? Too many of them, aren't there? Now, every salad leaf has a different taste. Have you even thought how to buy it in the first place? We just go to the supermarket and say, oh, let me buy this Chinese cabbage. Okay, let me buy this. Pak choy, let us buy pak choy. What is pak choy? Ure, nobody understands. We just go buy and we cut it, cut, and put it. For what reason are you doing? Nobody is telling you. So please understand, you have to just know everything. So what did Vyasdev do? Vyasdev broke it down further and passed it on to different people. And these different people are connected to different departments. And these departments are already mentioned over here. So what did he do? He passed on all these to his different people. So he is given example over here, the Paila Muni and so on and so forth. I don't have to elaborate on that. You will understand it yourself. So today, all these great Munis have got their training. So we will stop at verse 22. Tomorrow we will start from verse 23 onwards. Stop.
Recording stopped.
Oh, I'll have to apologize for this abrupt ending because my recording device said you are finished. Okay.